Hello! So, before we get started, I've been told very explicitly to make it clear that any of the names that you see in the Legendary Army book here, whether that's names for the units, names for their special rules, names for the mounts, names for magic items, anything like that, it's all subject to change as Background haven't finished their little bit of work yet before the release is ready. So bear that in mind, but other than that, enjoy. No worries.
Okay, I'm recording now as well.
Perfect. Right. Hello. Welcome back to day 3. So this is Wednesday today, I think. Hopefully, if I've got this right. And today we're having a look at the core units. And I'm joined again by my special guest. Say hello.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back.
Hooray. So hopefully today will be slightly shorter because we haven't got endless magic items and principles to cover.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Huge section for characters. I think everything else should be a lot simpler. Apart from maybe special.
Yeah, special might be a little bit longer. Right, so with no further ado, straight on. So first unit is Feudal Knights, and if you stop and have a look, there I can't spot any differences to old Knights of the Realm. Can you? I mean, the unit size and
the main difference is that it's apart from the special rules that have changed and the Destria change, which we've already touched on. It's essentially the same unit. Yeah.
Yeah. For a small-sized unit, it's almost identical in price as well. It's 5 points cheaper, assuming you don't go for a ban array, which I assume you wouldn't on a minimum-sized unit. But the big thing for them is the loss of combat res and the loss of the old blessing means that they are 11 points per model cheaper.
Yes.
Which is awesome. Really, really good. Considering how it's almost 50 points for a core unit, for a core knight in the Slim book. So, yeah, this is massive. Whether or not they'll really miss the old blessing and lance formation will remain to be seen, but more of them can fight now. They get a better save against toxic and stuff like that.
Access to knight banner for the unit as well. So
yeah. Oh, and of course, Orisons boost the unit massively as well. So if you need the 5+ Aegis and you're fighting against things with only AP2, you can boost yourself to 4 up, 5 up anyway, and that's without magic support. So awesome, massive stuff. Plus the Destriers are, they're strength 4 all the time now as well, which is nice.
Yeah, very nice.
Next up is a favourite unit of yours, Ordo Sergeants.
Yes.
So this is is it the replacement for? I think aspirants have kind of been rolled out entirely, really, haven't they?
I think this is the new aspirants, but they are significantly different to the old lot.
Yeah, so they are a source of Orison casting, but they've got Orison 0, so they won't add to your pool, but you can cast from this unit.
Yeah, which is a nice upgrade.
Yeah, they've got a 3-up armor. They've got the Honesty defensive protection, so against magical attacks they'll get +1 Aegis. They're entirely strength 3, both them and their mount. They've got a very human stat line, basically.
Yeah.
With the bonus from the blessing. And then they come with hatred as well, which is nice.
Yeah, intrinsic hatred. And access to a Ordos Minister.
Yes, so they can self-heal without magic. Very slowly, it should be said. Only 1 per turn. Or 1 per magic phase, rather. But yeah, self-healing is better than no healing. Unless the Ordos Minister dies, then you need to bring in something bigger to bring him back to life. But yeah, pretty cool though. And then you can go with either light lances or great weapons, which at the moment is extraordinarily cheap.
Yes, the whole unit max upgraded for 15 Ordo Sergeants with great weapons and full command and Ordos Minister is only 415 points.
Yeah, considering how easy that is to get that to a 4+ Aegis in that unit. That's really, really good. And they self-heal, and they've got hatred, and it's all strength 5 AP3, AP2 even. Yeah. And there's no question as to whether or not they're going to be in range of the Orison, because they are an Orison unit. You can only take 30 models in an army, so you can't just take 4 units of 15 of these guys.
Which otherwise you would potentially could.
Yeah, I was going to say, you tried to, didn't you?
Yeah, I read it and then I completely forgot about it. Wishful thinking.
Yes, yeah. Well, it's easy to look at a thing and get excited about it and miss it. Yeah, so funky unit. I think a nice, interesting difference because there wasn't enough between aspirants and realms in the last unit.
Yeah,
in the last book, I
it's
felt.
certainly different, and it's a unit that can grind. You can also, with it being so cheap for 15, you can potentially, with this unit, decide to forego lance formation and just.
Oh well, they don't have lance formation anyway.
There's no lance formation in this unit. I did not notice that.
Yeah, you've got to go 5 wide if you want ranks.
You've got to go 5 wide if you want to go ranks, but or all your attacks essentially.
Yeah. Yeah, so even in units of 15, unless you're going wider than 5, you're only going to get 10 guys attacking, which makes a difference. I mean, it's still really, really good. But,
yeah, absolutely. Still definitely worth taking. And still hideable for your damsels and your... because they don't need lance formation anymore, which is the old thing. And,
yes, you can stick her in the middle of these.
Still very, very, a decent output, and again, very easy to get up to a 4 ward for this unit.
Yeah. Yeah, so very, very nice. Cool. Next up, we've got Lowborn Levees, which, basically, I think these are also identical to the old peasant levy, so 30 to 50 models in a unit. Discipline 6, which I think might be a buff. I think they used to be Discipline 5, right?
I believe that might be correct, yeah.
Yeah, so that's a nice boost for this unit. Of course, they come with Ordeal and a 6+ Aegis as well, so it's as long as you're ranking your deploying correctly, you should be able to get these guys to a 5+ Aegis if you want them in combat with your knights, which makes them very, very resilient.
Mm-hmm.
And understandably, mixed with that, just shields is the cheap option. So if you want a free upgrade for them and you've got to pick one of them, you can go with halberds or spears, or you can pay for the shields.
Yeah. Bit more expensive than they used to be. They're up 30 points base and 2 points per model for the additional models, plus 1 point for shields. So clearly, the design team definitely thinks the ward save is a big bonus,
significant, yeah,
over the old version. I am unconvinced that the considering that 5+ is conditional, and the loss of the leadership bonus and march bonus that you got from the old book, whether these are possibly overpriced.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. I think, to be fair, I'd rather... That's probably a better way round to start with.
It's an unusual for a new book for sure, but time will tell, I suppose.
Yeah. It's interesting that you say that, because we'll take a look at my list afterwards, but yeah, we'll see. And then next up, Lowborn Arches, which I think are a really cool part of a fantasy medieval army. So now that you can take them in units of 10 is really good, and they've had a little bit of a boost as well. Otherwise, so same stats as before, a little bit boost to their discipline. You can only take 90 models in an army, essentially, 3 units of 30, and that's reduced if you take any siege war machines. They are also very expensive per model. Well, I suppose that's about the same as they used to be, right?
I think it's pretty close, yeah. Unit of 30 with Muso is about 300 in this, if you go with the longbow option. Back in the old book, if you wanted 30, it's pretty much the same.
Yeah, so very similar then. So you must choose between a longbow and expert bowman or a crossbow. The crossbows are only 1 point per model, but the longbows gain accurate if they don't move, which pretty nice. Means that at long range, at long range they're hitting on the same as an elf, which is cool, especially considering you can rank them up pretty high.
And they're half the cost.
yeah, exactly. It's like 21 points a model for a Sylvan Elf.
Yeah,
I don't know how much it is for High Elves, but yeah, that's nice. They don't come with defensive stakes anymore. That's no longer a physical wall that you put down. It's an upgrade that you pay for the unit. Immediately after successfully charging a non-fleeing unit of Lowborn Archers in its front facing. Enemy models in base contact with one or more Lowborn Archers must take a dangerous terrain test on failing on a 1 or a 2.
Yeah, it's a little upgrade. I mean, you don't necessarily want your archers being charged. It's only models in base to base. So it's not like it's going to give the whole charging unit, whole charging horde, a third off there.
It's a nice thematic thing, isn't it? It's a nice replacement field thing without having to put a physical wall down, which is probably good.
Yes,
I
agree that the
5+
wall
stats.
thing was a bit complicated.
Yeah, and in the new book with your peasant levy having a 5+ Aegis, being able to deploy a wall where you like it is probably a bit much.
Yes.
So this is a good change. Yeah, if you've got a big unit, then it might be worth paying for defensive stakes. It means that cavalry charging them will have a harder time. Monsters, if it's a gigantic model charging in, it's 3 dice failing on 1s and 2s, might take a couple of wounds, which is nice.
That was something I was wondering about, because it says you must take a dangerous terrain test.
Yeah, let's take a quick look, I guess.
I mean, we don't have to get into that now, but I think that is potentially a point of confusion.
Yeah, I shouldn't think that would be different though, right? Yeah, something to be looked at, but I shouldn't think that's either way. Yeah, it's all right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then that's the end of course. So nice and short, but lots of variety. Heavy knights, medium knights, and then your classic archers and peasant levy, which is nice. So do you want to pick a favourite?
I mean, I still really like the Ordo Sergeants. I think they're really solid for the points. I think it's an interesting choice for the book. I think it's a lot more flexibility there than what you used to get the difference between realms and aspirants.
Yeah, and a nice way of getting lots of bodies in the army.
Yes,
even on cavalry. And a least favourite for you?
Least favourite. I may be gonna go with Levees, just because I think there might be a tad over. I mean, maybe I could be wrong about that, but it's just a gut instinct. I think they haven't really changed role from the old book.
Yeah.
And they're a bit more tankier, but that's essentially what they did there anyway. And they've lost the leadership bonus. They've lost the march bonus, and they've got more expensive essentially.
Yeah.
So I'm remain unconvinced with them.
Yeah, that's fair. For me, I'm just going to pick the Feudal Knights. I think that the changes to this unit with the special rules for the army makes the unit better while making it cheaper and not being crazy about that, because you've got the Orisons and you've got the change to lance formation and courage, which I think boosts the unit in some respects and tax it back a little bit, so you haven't got like a massive lance of 15 with its loads of combat res and breaking steadfast on top of that. So yeah, I think that's nice. It's a good flavour. It's a good basis for the army. It's a good core unit.
Okay.
Least favourite though, I think, I don't know, because it's a really good core section. There's loads of different ways that you can build it. I think my least favourite thing is that great weapons are free on the Ordo Sergeants. I think besides that, they're priced well. I think that is probably going to have to go up a couple more points a model at least.
I agree that I think they are too cheap there.
Yeah, I think besides that, like the light lances is good on that because they won't grind very well at that point. It's just the great weapon is really, really good and shouldn't be the same point as a light lance.
No. Like, I mean, and for that matter, why is it a light lance?
Yeah, exactly. If it was lances, then maybe there would be an argument for taking them. Potentially.
Why would you ever take a light lance there? I just don't know. Like, there's plenty of access to strength 4 in other sections of the book here. So, or just go feudal knights at that point. You could just, the feudal. Why wouldn't you just go feudal knights?
Yeah. So that I think that will be looked at. That'll change, I think.
So.
Cool. So that moves us on to our lists very quickly. So a lot more swift than yesterday. Do you want to go first?
Sure. So I spammed the unit that I thought was OP.
That's fair.
two auto sergeants, two 15s of auto sergeants, fully upgraded with their great weapons is essentially what I've taken. I think they're nice. They're potentially nice combat bunkers for hitty characters. So my Justicar Lord, the one who gets additional attacks, is going to go in one of these units because he gets the. These are relatively light knights, so they do die a bit more easy. So that will be compensated somewhat by some high quality attacks from for additional high quality attacks from that guy.
Yeah.
There's obviously, I mean, it's an early draft of lists. I mean, I'm a little worried that these guys are going to be too flimsy and they'll bleed too quickly, and it will just the guy will be dead immediately and fleeing with the rest of his
just
unit.
Fall apart immediately.
But on paper, I like the idea of it. In practice, we'll have to see about how practical this unit is. But it just seems absurdly cheap. The other, and then to round out the core, I put in a unit of 6 Feudal Knights with full command and a Banner of Discipline, just to get up to the points cap. I was tempted by a unit of Levee with Lowborn Arches to fill out the points there, but I think the rest of my list is not designed to babysit a unit of archers with their leadership. I mean, when you can go 30 archers, do you need to babysit them? It takes quite a lot to cause a panic, but it's so there's an argument that that's irrelevant. But that as an early draft, so who knows? It could be worth trying both variants for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. In my core, like I said, I really like the Feudal Knights, so I've gone 2 units of them. The first one is a unit of 11 with full command and the Ordo Blessed Banner. I think that's a good place to stick an extra Orison token producer, I guess, on a nice big unit, and then that's not with the tokens boosting them in combat and with magic to help as well. That should be a pretty relatively alright combat in unit in combat. Next up, I've gone for another 6 Feudal Knights, like Hugh, to fill out core. I think they're really good for small units, for flanking and scoring. They're really good in breakthrough, for example, and grabbing spoils tokens and all that kind of thing.
Same as they were in the old book.
Yeah, exactly. And 5 points cheaper, I'll take that. And then finally, I've gone for a unit of 39 Lowborn Levees with full command and shields. I think so this is where my BSB, my Faith BSB, is going to be sitting. So he's going to be. I don't necessarily need a courage unit in the same combat to give them their 5+ Aegis, because I can be constantly spending the free tokens from my BSB to give them a 5+ Aegis all the time.
That does certainly give them a boost.
Yeah, so it might be worth going Legion icon on the Legion banner on the BSB to give them an extra combat res.
I was thinking as well the potential for Relentless on him as 2 if you had the points.
Yes, yeah. Unfortunately, Tristan's Resolve on Ghostly Guard is quite expensive. Because he's only got 100 points to spend.
I think you could squeeze it in. He's got 150, right?
Not for a BSB. It gets reduced to 100.
Shame.
Yeah, which is tragic. But yeah, so the gear on the Lord could be changed around, but I think a Faith character in with a big block of Lowborn Levees is really cool.
Yeah,
nice and easy to get them to for the 5+. And then if you get a unit in to give them their 5+ anyway, and they get capped out, then you can start making them cause fear or giving them a +1 to hit. Which with the shamanism magic to add it in is nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Right, that's the end of core. That's the end of our lists and our favourites and everything.
Much shorter video than last time.
Much shorter than yesterday's video. So come back tomorrow for special, which will probably be a little bit longer. yeah, see you tomorrow.
Bye, everyone.